Hello everyone. Today I'm excited to talk about crime in virtual worlds. Those digital spaces like Second Life or VR chat where people interact as avatars. This topic is fascinating because it shows how actions in virtual world spaces can have real-world consequences. The presentation will explore what these crimes are, how they hurt people, and why they're so hard to stop. The content of this report is introduction, what is virtual crime, types of virtual crime, case studies, impact of virtual crimes, legal and policing challenges, current legal frameworks, proposed solutions, conclusions, references. Virtual worlds are immersive digital spaces like Second Life, VR chat, or online games, where millions connect through avatars. In 2019, 42.9 million Americans use virtual reality, and that number keeps climbing. Here's why this matters. Crime in these spaces can cause real emotional pain and financial loss, just like crimes in the physical world. Today, I'm going to break down the types of virtual crimes, their effects on victims, and the legal challenges in stopping them. So, what exactly counts as virtual crime? What is virtual crime? A virtual crime is any act in the digital world that feels like a real crime to the victim. These crimes happen in places like VR chat where the avatars interact. They include things like theft, harassment, virtual assault, or fraud. What makes them tricky is that they're often not prosecutable because laws haven't caught up with technology. They involve virtual property like digital money or item, which can have a real value. It's strange to think about stealing virtual sword, but when it's virtual cash, it's a big deal. Let's look at the specific types of crimes happening in these spaces. Types of virtual crimes. There are four main types of virtual crimes. First, theft of virtual property, like stealing digital currency or items. For example, an item called Britannia's Anum was worth $3.40 in real money. Second, virtual sexual assault, where non-consensual acts cause serious emotional trauma, with cases reported as far back as 1993. Third, harassment and griefing, which includes stalking or intimidating avatars. Finally, virtual sweatshop exploit people to earn in-game currency like in the in-game Lineage 2. These crimes aren't just virtual, they hit victims hard in the real world. To show how real this is, let's talk about some actual cases. Here are some of the case studies. I want to warn you about that this slide discusses sensitive topics like assault, so please be aware. Real cases show how serious virtual crimes are. Back in 1993, a virtual world called the Lambda had the first reported virtual sexual assault, leaving victims with PTSD-like symptoms. In 2007, Belgian police investigated non-consensual acts in Second Life. In 2021, a researcher in Horizon World was virtually assaulted within just 60 seconds. A 2022 BBC report found grooming in VR chat when the journalist posed as a 13-year-old. And in 2024, UK police looked into the virtual rape of a minor's avatar. These cases prove virtual crimes have a real-world impact. So how do these crimes affect people in the real world? Impact of the virtual crimes. Virtual crimes cause serious harm. Emotionally, victim suffers from PTSD, anxiety, or depression. And immersive VR makes these feelings even stronger. Financially stolen virtual goods like a digital sword worth $100 lead to real losses, and some criminals even launder money through in-game currency. Socially, the anonymity of virtual worlds makes people act cruelly, fueling abuse. Worst of all, minors face risks like grooming and exploitation. This impact shows how virtual crimes aren't just a game, they disrupt lives in ways we can't ignore. But stopping these crimes is really challenging. Let me explain why. Legal and policing challenges. Stopping virtual crimes is a legal nightmare. First, there's a jurisdictional problem. If I'm in the US and someone in Japan attacks my avatar whose laws applies, it's a mess. Second, defining these crimes is tough because avatars aren't people and there's no physical harm. So some argue they're not real crimes. Finally, enforcement is hard. Anonymous users are nearly impossible to track and most police aren't trained to investigate virtual worlds. These challenges makes its legal gray zone, and criminals often slip through the cracks. Let's see how current laws tries to handle this. Current legal frameworks. Right now, some laws apply to virtual crimes, but they're not perfect. The UK's Computer Misuse Act covers things like hacking, but it doesn't always fit virtual assault. Cybercrime laws help with fraud or hacking, but they miss many virtual specific acts. Game administrators can ban troublemakers, but that just a slap on the wrist with no real world impact. There's one success story, or for example, is the Sweden prosecuted someone for virtual coercion, sentencing them to 10 years and fining them over $130,000, but most virtual crimes still go unpunished because the laws aren't clear enough. So what can we do to fix this problem? The proposed solution is to tackle virtual crimes. We need a plan. First, we need a clear laws specifically for virtual worlds and international agreements to enforce them across the borders. Second, technology can help with better blocking tools, stronger safety features, and less anonymity for users. Third, education is key. We need to train police to investigate virtual crimes and warn people about the risks. And finally, governments, tech companies, and legal experts must team up. Here's a question for you. What laws would you suggest for virtual crimes? These steps could make virtual world much safer for everyone. In conclusions, virtual crimes are a growing problem as 42.9 million Americans and billion more worldwide use VR. These crimes cause real emotional and financial harm from PTSD to stolen digital goods, but our legal system are way behind technology, leaving victims without justice. We urgently need updated laws and global cooperation to address this. Looking ahead as virtual worlds keeps expanding, so will the need for strong solutions. We have to act now to keep these digital spaces safe for everyone. Here are the sources I use, including books like Reality Plus by David Chalmers, articles from Wired and academic journals. They're great if you want to learn more about virtual crimes.